Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the evolving sound of Kanye West. Now, in short, Kanye is known as many things: a producer, a fashion designer, an entrepreneur, a rapper, but perhaps he's best known as an artist. Kanye is an artist in multiple disciplines, blessed with an ability to create from concepts in his mind. He has created masterpieces. From album to album, Kanye has never been complacent, always pushing his ability, and he's crossed over into different genres at will. His desire to constantly evolve his sound has cemented a legacy which has inspired many artists around the world. Now, going along, Kanye in his teenage years had ambition to pursue the arts, and he received a scholarship to attend Chicago's American Academy of Arts in 1997, though he would later transfer onto an English course at Chicago State University. At this stage, music was just a hobby, though through music production, Kanye saw his future in music, so he dropped out. Now, his early sound centered on speeding up classic soul samples. In 1996, his first production credit came on the debut album of Chicago rapper Grav. Now, around this time, Kanye met producer No ID, who would become his mentor. In 1998, Kanye was signed to New York production company Hip Hop Since 1978, which had dealings with Rockefeller Records. Along with his association with No ID, Kanye was laying his foundation as an artist. Kanye's exposure grew in 1999 as he went on to produce for Harlem World, Goody Mob and Made Men. Kanye's process was relentless, collecting records and samples, cutting them and crafting his own beats. By 2000, appetite grew for Kanye's sound. His sound resonated with an audience. Production on singles for Nas, Beanie Sigel and Trina gained exposure. Along with No ID and Just Blaze, his production became the background of the success of Rockefeller, though he had ambition to rap as well before he even begun producing. Kanye started rapping and even got his mum, Donda, to pay for studio time as a teenager to record his first raps. Kanye had meetings with Atlantic Records to be signed as an artist, but Atlanta passed over this opportunity. Reluctant to lose Kanye's talent, Rockefeller co-founder Dame Dash signed him to the label. His sound was found on all the label's major releases in 2002, as he established himself as one of the best producers out. At this time, his sound started to evolve as well. On Trina's 2002 song, Be Alright, he adopted a sound of southern bounce, spliced with aggressive violin loops. And on Poppin' Tags, a cut off Jay-Z's Blueprint 2, Kanye used chipmunk vocal samples on an up-tempo beat. Kanye was evolving his sound. He was not one to stand still as he was gearing up for his debut, The College Dropout. Now, in October 2002, Kanye was involved in a head-on car collision which shattered his jaw.
It was around this time his album was leaked 3 times. This led to his dedication to perfect his craft.
3 delays in the release of his debut album are a testament to this. The sound and arrangements on The College Dropout are different to the early takes. This translated Kanye's ability to cultivate and curate completely different sounding bodies of work in such a short space of time, a skill rare in rap. His debut album was a critical and commercial smash, amidst a time when rap was dominated by gangster rap. The unique chipmunk soul production style introduced Kanye the artist to the masses. The soul music samples were still there, but coupled with R&B samples balanced the album. And Kanye's sound was a move away from the raps focused on guns and violence. It was more conscious through a discussion of black identity and social commentary. His success led to the formation of his own label, Good Music, in 2004. After the success of The College Dropout, Kanye began work on the second studio album, Late Registration. For his second album, Kanye teamed up with film score producer John Byron. Kanye's signature style of production, using sped-up soul samples, was being widely used. Kanye had to switch up his sound. So with John Byron, soulful hip-hop production met chamber orchestration. Ye's lyrical content also developed. The album was more narrative as Kanye embraced his superstardom. Though the album still retained a conscience of the black struggle on songs like Crack Music and Diamonds from Sierra Leone. Like The College Dropout, Late Registration was a commercial and critical success, winning a Grammy for Best Album. Kanye was now a producer turned rapper turned superstar. Rolling Stone would go on to place the album 118th on its list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. During this time, Kanye would continue to produce for Rockefeller, as well as his own artists on Good Music like Common and John Legend. Ye was the creator of hits such as Twisters, Overnight Celebrity, and Dreams by The Game. His hold on the rap game was undeniable. Ye at this time was arguably the most influential in rap culture. Kanye spent most of 2005 to 2007 preparing the graduation, the third instalment of the school-themed albums. Ye sound evolved yet again. This album was a total departure from soul samples in favour of atmospheric sounds. Ye was influenced heavily by alternative rock and house music, again showcasing Ye's ability to evolve his sound. His lyrics were more introspective and addressed personal themes, forming a lyrical narrative on almost every song. Kanye again ascended to the top of rap. The album was a commercial and critical success and won the 2008 Grammy for Best Rap Album. The album single Stronger also won a Grammy for Best Rap Solo Performance. Now going into 2008, Ye took a total departure away from rap. Having achieved so much with rap, Kanye wanted to take his artistry to a new level, from rap to electro pop. Love and heartbreak were the themes of the album, as he explored the topics of pain and regret. Lead single Love Lockdown initially confused some fans. The sound was so new, fusing auto-tune with new wave, and was not initially as celebrated as his previous efforts. Rolling Stone in 2014 would name 808 as one of the top 40 groundbreaking albums of all time. The album would go on to inspire a new wave of rappers and R&B artists such as Kid Cudi, Frank Ocean and Drake. Many critics would later note how the record was ahead of its time, and it laid the foundation of rap going into the 2010s. And in 2010, Kanye would go on to release his fifth studio album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. This album was an accumulation of his previous four. It had elements of soul, orchestration, electro-pop, progressive rap, and an influence of 90s hip-hop. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was the peak of Kanye's career. It wasn't just a commercial and critical success, it was considered an instant classic. Now, the word classic is debated non-stop in hip-hop, but My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy crossed multiple genres. Mostly it was classified as progressive rap meeting art pop. The album is considered one of the best of all time. Entertainment Weekly placed it as the 8th best album of all time. Rolling Stone placed it as 353rd on its list of greatest albums of all time. And NME placed it as the 23rd best album of all time. The acclaim for this album cemented Kanye's legacy. Kanye collaborated on the production extensively with Mike Dean and No ID. And it came with stellar features from Nicki Minaj, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Bon Iver and Pusha T. The album marked a moment in rap where exploration of the extravagance of celebrity meets the reality of ego and fame. Ye went on to release Watch the Throne with Jay-Z in 2011, an album which continued the progressive rap sound of his previous album, although this was more commercially appealing. With lyrical themes about wealth and society, the album was grounded through Jay-Z's masterful verses. Musically, the two are far apart, but together they made one of the best collaboration albums of the 2010s. Two of rap's juggernauts on one album. The album was a significant success, spawning singles selling millions of units. It served as one of the best commercially performing albums for the duo. Now, as we go into 2012, Ye was 10 years deep in the industry, and it was in that year that Ye would go on to executively produce Cruel Summer, an album featuring all of the good music roster, plus close affiliates of the label like Jay-Z and 2 Chainz. The album was very much a posse cut, as it demonstrated both the producing and lyrical talents on the label. Ye starred on the album, even as it featured notable rappers in the game. The album spawned 4 singles, notably Mercy and Click. The album demonstrated Ye's ability to translate the soundscapes of Watch the Throne and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy into commercial hit singles. The album was noted for its strong production value and was another critical and commercial success. In the following years, Kanye released his most avant-garde project. Yeezus was a landscape of industrial rap, injected with electro, minimalist hip-hop, and elements of punk. Sonically, it was Kanye's most experimental album, even more so than 808s and Heartbreaks. Ye worked extensively with Daft Punk, Mike Dean, and Noah Goldstein. As an experimental offering, it was not made with commercial appeal. Like 808s and Heartbreaks, it was a dive into the unknown. Ye is a trendsetter, and the album was a testament to that. This album serves as Kanye at his most unfiltered. As invasive as his beats, Yeezus was made to puncture through the walls of rap in 2013, and it did just that. The album was received with mixed reactions from fans, but it received acclaim from critics and topped many end-of-year polls. Although Kanye was pushing his sound in new directions, he was still producing for others, such as Pusha, Madonna and John Legend, showcasing that Ye could hold it down in multiple genres. Fans had to wait until 2016 until Ye's next album. The Life of Pablo is disjointed, but sonically, each song is a piece of the overall soundscape. Ye proved himself as self-aware of his art form. Long gone were the singular rap albums of the 2000s. Ye, in his mind, was creating masterpieces, art forms with polarising sounds. He pushed the boundaries of hip-hop and ushered in new eras of music. The sound of The Life of Pablo replicates Ye in his personal life. Ye had moved from soul samples into multiple genres. Kanye was no longer just a rapper / producer. He was an entrepreneur, an artist, a designer, a businessman. His ever-evolving sound was replicated in his evolving consciousness. Again, working closely with Goldstein and Mike Dean, Ye also worked closely with Rick Rubin and Hudson Mohawk on the album. The album was actually downloaded illegally 500,000 times before it was due for release. However, the album still debuted at number 1 and it received good reviews from critics. Some fans have gone on to call this album a classic. Now, in 2018, Ye would go on to produce 5 albums. All of them were 7 to 8 tracks in length. They included Kanye's 8th studio album, simply titled Ye, also his collaboration project with Kid Cudi, as well as albums from Pusha T, Tiana Taylor and Nas. This represented Kanye's continued relevance in rap, as well as pushing the sounds and compositions of his own albums. Ye was by far Kanye's shortest album at just under 24 minutes in length. Although short in nature, Ye found new avenues to explore. The composition married Ye's penchant for soul samples with vocals aware of superstardom. To have the power to produce and drop albums of multiple genres at the same time is incredible. Now his album Ye itself received mixed reviews, but this was largely attributed to its experimental length. Kids See Ghosts, his collaborative album with his protege Kid Cudi, incorporated psychedelic with rock and rap. That album was a commercial success and a welcome joint from fans. It received critical acclaim from critics as Ye once again pushed the walls of rap apart. Now Kanye planned to release his 9th studio album in 2019. It was tentatively titled Yandy, but due to leaks the album title was scrapped. Kanye put a lot creatively into Yandy, but after it leaked, he decided to head into another direction. So, in October 2019, Kanye released Jesus is King, a 27-minute album consisting of Christian hip-hop, with a background of gospel singing and with heavy bass and chords. Again, Kanye's sound was still evolving. The album was Kanye's 9th consecutive solo album to top the Billboard charts, but the album garnered a mixed reaction from fans and critics. Though the production on the album was praised, the length of the album as a commercial release was questioned. With more subtle soft raps rather than the abrasive nature of Yeezus and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, the album pushed boundaries, but not mainstream ones. Rather, it brought Christian hip-hop into the mainstream conversation. At this stage in his career, Kanye's accolades are enough to show how his sound has shaped hip-hop from 2000 to 2020. Many of his works are considered masterpieces, and they transition from rap into progressive, industrial, rock, pump, psychedelic and pop genres. Kanye has mastered many disciplines. His legacy as one of rap's most progressive and transforming producers is undeniable, and he has the raps to complement his evolving sound. Where Kanye goes from here is anyone's guess,